Support for this podcast and the following message is brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. With E-Trade, you can dive into the market with easy-to-use tools, $0 commissions, and a wide range of investments. And now there's even more to love. Get access to industry-leading research and insights from Morgan Stanley to help guide your decisions. Open an account and get up to $1,000 or more with a qualifying deposit. Get started today at etrade.com. Terms and other fees apply. Investing involves risks. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. E-Trade is a business of Morgan Stanley.
On today's Smart 7, Labour pushes back on migration row, Trump drops sanctions on Syria, and much more. It's Wednesday, 14th of May. It's World Migratory Bird Day, and happy birthday, Ollie Murs.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
The reaction to Keir Starmer's speech on immigration, in which he referred to the UK as an island of strangers, continued on Tuesday. There was a near-universal backlash over the phrase, with accusations that it mirrored Enoch Powell's famously divisive Rivers of Blood speech, but Downing Street was not happy with that comparison. The PM has said he won't shy away from direct talk about the difficult subject, but Home Secretary Yvette Cooper was attempting to reset the debate.
The point he was making was the importance of recognising the impact that we've seen this big increase in net migration, and also that we've got to have the support for integration, the support for English language speaking, a lot of the measures that are set out as part of that white paper.
Tory Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, whose government presided over a wave of migration, was calling for less speeches and more action.
The country is becoming less united as a result of very large numbers of people coming in, which make it impossible to successfully integrate them. So I think it's right that politicians try to understand the strength of feeling there is in the country.
US President Donald Trump has headed to the Middle East for the first official visits of his second term. His choice of destinations, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, are slightly odd, particularly as he's embroiled in a controversy over the donation of a $400 million plane from Qatar. He spoke on Tuesday at the Saudi-US Investment Summit, announced the signing of a $140 billion arms deal and lavished praise on his host, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, while also surprising diplomats with an announcement on Syria.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince.
Trump is scheduled to meet the Syrian Prime Minister in Riyadh this week, and it appears the Syrians have offered access to Syrian oil and a proposal for a Trump Tower in Damascus. The US president is not expected to attend Thursday's Ukraine peace talks in Turkey, despite a plea from Ukrainian President Zelensky.
We will do everything to agree on a ceasefire. Putin is the only one who can decide on a ceasefire. We have invited President Trump to join us, and if he confirms, that gives Putin an additional impetus to come.
Israel carried out a strike on the European hospital in Khan Yunis in Gaza on Tuesday evening, killing at least 28 people. The IDF says the strike was aimed at a Hamas command and control centre under the hospital, and it's believed they were targeting Hamas leader Mohammed Sinwar. Israeli PM Netanyahu is promising a dramatic escalation in force in Gaza in the next few days, despite calls for restraint from US President Trump. Meanwhile, the aid blockade continues for a 10th week, and UNICEF's Jonathan Crick says the situation is desperate.
This is the reason why it's absolutely critical that the ceasefire is reinstated and that humanitarian aid can finally re-enter at scale. All the children I'm seeing here in Gaza are really desperate and living in the most awful conditions.
Peter Sullivan, who was jailed for 38 years for the murder of Diane Sindel, finally had his conviction overturned on Tuesday. He was arrested for the murder of the 21-year-old barmaid on Merseyside in 1986. The case was finally overturned after new DNA evidence taken from the scene cleared him of the murder, and his conviction was quashed at the Royal Courts of Justice in London, as Mr. Sullivan, now 68, watched on a video link from Wakefield Prison. He served over 14,000 days and police have no other suspects for the crime. Mr. Sullivan's lawyer, Sarah Myatt, read a statement on his behalf outside the court.
As we advance towards resolving the wrongs done to me, I am not angry, I am not bitter, I am simply anxious to return to my loved ones and family, as I've got to make the most of what is left of the existence I am granted in this world.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, in association with Metro, Jack Draper heads to the Italian Open quarter-finals, and Tom Cruise just won't quit. Right after this.
Support for this podcast and the following message is brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. With E-Trade, you can dive into the market with easy-to-use tools, $0 commissions, and a wide range of investments. And now there's even more to love. Get access to industry-leading research and insights from Morgan Stanley to help guide your decisions. Open an account and get up to $1,000 or more with a qualifying deposit. Get started today at etrade.com. Terms and other fees apply. Investing involves risks. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney LLC, member SIPC. E-Trade is a business of Morgan Stanley.
Welcome back. This week's sporting spotlight is on Italy ahead of this weekend's Grand Prix and with tennis at the Italian Open. Tuesday saw Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic decide to consciously uncouple as coach and player after just 6 months. Djokovic has been in terrible form, losing 3 matches in a row, which is a rarity for the multiple champion. On the clay courts, Britain's Jack Draper put in a strong performance to beat France's Corentin Moutet 2-1 over 3 sets, and he now heads to the quarter-finals.
At one point I was looking at the slides that I've been doing in one game, and I was literally like covering the whole court with drop shots, and I don't know what was going on. My brain was, I've got like dizziness from it. But you know, like credit to Corentin, he honestly played a great match.
This is a fair warning. The forecast for the next few weeks shows a lot of Tom Cruise on the horizon as we count down to the last ever Mission Impossible film Final Reckoning, which is due to hit cinemas on May 21st. The one-man whirlwind has already made an appearance on the roof of the British Film Institute and posted a video of himself jumping out of a plane, but he's only getting warmed up. Tom wasn't just randomly standing on the BFI's roof, by the way. He received a fellowship for his services to film and paid tribute to Hollywood greats Jack Nicholson and Marlon Brando for their understanding of the art form. He doesn't sound like a man who is planning to retire anytime soon either, and he's pretty happy that he's still in good shape for a 62-year-old.
I look at a body kind of like a car. I work 7 days a week. For me, it's like brushing my teeth. I have to take care of it. That's how I have to train my body or whatever it takes, whether it's dancing or stunts.
There are 2 things you can be certain of in life: that the Spider-Man universe will continue to expand, and that there aren't many jobs that Nicolas Cage would say no to. There's a brand new moody version of the Spider-Man story on the way to Prime Video. It's called Spider Noir, and it's set in the 1930s. The character is part of the Spider-Verse, and Nick Cage played Spider Noir in the animated version, but this new show is full-on live action. It's also being produced in black and white and a colour version, so you can mix and match depending on your mood. It's due to drop early in 2026.
Have you seen it out there? The city's a mess. The people could use a hero. I hope they find someone.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Support for this podcast and the following message is brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. With E-Trade, you can dive into the market with easy-to-use tools, $0 commissions, and a wide range of investments. And now there's even more to love. Get access to industry-leading research and insights from Morgan Stanley to help guide your decisions. Open an account and get up to $1,000 or more with a qualifying deposit. Get started today at etrade.com. Terms and other fees apply. Investing involves risks. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. E-Trade is a business of Morgan Stanley.